Alright guys, we're back. And now, WEEBUS PLEEBUS.
Oh my god.
Let me explain. KurbStomped here does not watch anime whatsoever.
Nope.
He's seen maybe one or two little episodes in his life.
I mean, I watched a lot of Pokemon.
And a lot of Pokemon, but you know, that's pretty American.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's just a cartoon.
Oh yeah, it's definitely just a cartoon. So, every episode he's gonna watch a new anime and then or a movie, and we'll discuss it. So,
that's right. We're gonna have to figure out what the next one's gonna be too. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, we'll put up a Twitter poll.
Oh, okay, I like it.
Or
I
something
like it.
That.
Take some suggestions. Yes, this is WEEBUS PLEEBUS.
WEEBUS PLEEBUS.
He's the weeb and I'm the pleb. I don't know.
It rolls off the tongue nicely.
Yeah, it sure does.
It's very nice.
So the one we decided for the first one was Lupin III, Castle of
Cagliostro.
Cagliostro. There we go.
Is a Miyazaki.
It's a Miyazaki
directed.
I know who that is. He is Studio Ghibli. His first feature-length anime. He'd done other series work beforehand. I did a little research afterwards after I watched it. Because as I'm watching it, I'm like, I feel that I'm missing something here. Like, what's going on?
Oh yeah, the movie's definitely based after a series.
So there was another movie before it too.
Oh, was there another movie?
There was another movie. Because I'm watching it and I'm like, who is this blonde woman? They have a history, obviously. And then it's like...
Fujiko?
Yeah, they obviously were a couple. And I'm like, where did they come from? But maybe we should start at this. Let's start at the start of the thing. Robbing the casino. And I'm assuming European country.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell at the start of the movie. There's definite history there where I do not know what's going on. I don't know if it's just anime tropes or whatever that I just don't know.
That goes on like that.
And at first, when the movie's starting, I'm like, it's kind of like real world-ish. Like, there's some outrageous stuff going on where they're jumping into their car and driving away. But I was like, okay,
there's a lot of slapstick going on.
Yeah, it's definitely slapsticky. But it was kind of grounded in reality, I thought. But then all of a sudden, Goemon shows up. Is that supposed to be like the personification of Goemon? Like the actual like Japanese warrior? Or was this just a guy that's good with swords?
I think he's just a guy that's good with swords that goes on the capers. I don't know if if it has to do anything with that, but it might be.
Like, I was like, I know Goemon is like a like actual thing. But it was like, is this supposed to be the guy? Like the ancient Japanese warrior? So I was very confused about that, and that's why I was like, is this like, I know it was Lupin the Third, and I just assumed it was because he was the third Lupin. But then I was like, is this the third movie? But no, it was not the third.
No,
movie.
he's the third. Yep.
But I was so confused about what was going on with Goemon.
So the way, like, it's been redubbed. That is not the original.
I did not watch it dubbed. I watched it subbed.
Oh, you watched it subbed.
I did turn on the dub just to hear it, but I watched the sub.
We watched it dubbed because I watched all Miyazaki films dubbed because that's what I grew up with watching.
Okay.
And so it's, and especially with some of the ones where he's got like big name voice actors like Jean-Luc Picard or Patrick Stewart and some other people. Uh-huh. Like, he's got Billy Crystal and some other guys in Howl's Moving Castle. So I always watch them dubbed because the voice acting is really good. Okay. But in this, they had redubbed it from the original that I watched, and so they were calling him Wolf the entire time.
A wolf?
Because, you know, Lupin, Wolf.
Okay, oh god.
But in the version that I had watched before, like when I was growing up, it was Lupin. They called him Lupin.
That's weird.
It didn't make any sense. Really and so it was... They didn't do a very good job of redubbing it. And so they left out a lot of plot elements.
I wonder why they did that.
Weird.
So I wonder if the original dub you heard was like the one that they did from like 1983 or whatever.
I imagine that's what it is. And then this is the Disney redub.
Because I read about it, and they were going to release the Lupin in theaters back then. And they did test screenings, and everyone was like, why would I go watch a cartoon? So they never did a wide release on it. It was released in like typically like New York and San Diego or something, and then people are like, an hour-long cartoon? An hour and a half long cartoon? I don't think so. So it could have been they changed the dub that way. Yeah. Who knows? Or who it's impossible to know. But yeah, I was reading in the first movie, he was more of like a lecherous guy, and like he was driving the car. His car that he drove, he liked it because it was the car Hitler drove. And I was like, wow, okay, it's a good thing they went this way rather than the other way. There was a lot of... It was just... I was, like, lost a little bit. Yeah. And the story was straightforward enough, but it was, like...
There's a lot of history that Fujiko you don't learn.
And, like, the Goemon one was really, like, why was he even there?
He just shows up for no reason.
They were like, let's call him Goemon, and then he's there, and then he cuts a few guys with his sword, and then he's gone. Yeah. It was like, why is he even there?
It's like he was like a cameo.
So that's why I thought it was supposed to be the real, like, Goemon.
He just shows up on a horse-drawn cart, cuts some people, and that's it. That's all you see of him. But he is... I mean, Lupin is still pretty lecherous in...
Well, he was, but, like... At the end, when it was like... Clarice is like, take me with you. And he's just like... Sorry, I gotta go! But it was like... He was obviously, like... 20 years older than her, 30 years older than her, because he met her when she was a kid and she brought him a cup of water or something.
Yeah, if he took her with her, that'd be weird.
But it was no, I can't do it. It was like, okay, he's a bit of a lech, but he's like, not that bad. I feel that maybe if Miyazaki hadn't been involved, he'd probably been like, yeah, hop in, let's get going here, girl. Because I know Miyazaki's more of a...
Oh, yeah. He's more wholesome.
A wholesome guy, for sure, from what I've seen of him in the past and things I've heard about him. What else can I say about it? The animation was okay.
I thought it was pretty good. Like, they did a lot of crazy shots, like especially with him running across the roof.
Yeah, all that was fast moving stuff. That was interesting for sure. That was cool. There was some parts where I saw where it was like I could tell that it's like old style cartoon where it's like
there's a background plate
and you can see the one part in the background that's going to be animated because it doesn't look the same. Like especially when he was in the dungeon at the end and there's like skeletons on the wall, and I was like, that skeleton, something's going to happen, and then it falls.
Yeah, it is traditional animation. They got the background plates and all that. Yes. And some of them are pretty obvious.
But yeah, it was fine. I thought the designs were fine and everything. I thought the Japanese voices were good. They seemed to all fit pretty nicely. What was the bad guy's name? I can't even remember.
The Count?
Yeah, the Count. Oh, I guess
Cagliostro.
Yeah, Cagliostro. He, I mean, was a doucher.
Oh yeah, for sure. A creepy doucher.
Just,
what are you doing, Clarice?
Yeah, exactly. He was... Yeah, exactly. The motivation was really weird, I thought. He wanted to get the treasure or something like that. And he had no idea what the treasure... No one knew what the treasure was. But he really just needed the ring to get the treasure. Yeah.
Or why would he just take the ring?
I mean...
She's got it on her finger. Just take the ring. Take the ring, put it together, read the thing.
I know they said, like, they wanted to make the wedding, like, official, like, real to the world. Like, the two dark and light sides of the family were coming back together. That was also weird. Like, is he related to her in some way?
Like that. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if they're related. Their family history had to go way, way back, like 500 years,
as any royal family are. They're all inbred, but like that was weird. But then like the treasure to unlock is the Roman ruin, but the only way to get it out of the water is you put the two rings in the clock face and it blows up the tower. It was just okay, whatever. It's an anime.
Well, they said that they had hidden the ruins so that no one would come and just like piecemeal it out or whatever. Like the archaeologists wouldn't come and like take it all
I guess and, like,
lock it down.
I guess in this Lupin world, there's no scuba divers. I guess.
Yeah, even though there were scuba divers, because there was all sorts of scuba divers.
Exactly. So there's a lot of things like that. It's a little suspension of disbelief.
Oh yeah,
I did, but afterwards I was just like, why? What? And like. you were right. This was like the middle of the road anime. It was like not too bad and not too good, but there was a lot of things like I guess maybe I don't know the language or vocabulary of the anime. I'm sure there was things where it was just like, oh yeah, of course that's the way animes are. Like it reminds me of I was playing an RPG with our mutual friend Dean watching one time.
Oh yeah,
and it was just an RPG, and there's a thing, and I'm like, oh, I better go save. And I ran over to the orb and saved. He's like, how did you know that? I was like, well, you save at an orb in an RPG. It's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is, or an inn, or
yeah, it's just the way it is.
Crystal in the sky.
Oh, okay. But he doesn't play them, so he doesn't know. So I'm thinking maybe there was stuff like that in there that it was just like I didn't get because I just don't know any better.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it.
I find it's very entertaining.
I wasn't bored with it. I mean, I watched it at my lunch break at work. I downloaded it on my phone from Netflix and just watched it there. And when the power went out the other day, I watched the rest of it in bed because there's no power. It was fine. I mean, will I watch it ever again? Probably no. I wouldn't think so.
So
that
wasn't
bad.
For a Miyazaki film, that's probably bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's always in love with Miyazaki stuff, and like I said before, when they played Howl's Moving Castle at the North Hills, that was the only movie I didn't go see. Was that because it's just like I don't care about this at all. Other than that, I think everything was fine. The main thing was just like, why is Goemon here?
Yeah, see, I didn't know Goemon was like a.
I've seen him in other games and stuff like that, and just like. He's like a legendary warrior, basically. I think he probably wields one of the legendary swords, too. Like, he probably... I don't know what they're called, but they're... And in whatever Final Fantasy, their swords are all named after real swords, so it's probably... Nikana or something like that. Like, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure...
I'm not sure either.
I'm pretty sure Goemon is like a legendary warrior from ancient Japanese, like, stories and stuff like that. I could be totally out to lunch on this too, but the name I know for sure I've heard before. So, Other than that, I mean, I'll continue on with the WEEBUS PLEEBUS. So far, we're 1 for 1.
Yeah. I mean, would you? There are definitely better Miyazaki films. That's for sure.
That'd be something to come back to later.
Oh yeah,
a different Miyazaki one. I wouldn't jump into another one right away. We should mix it up, maybe different. Directors, genre, style, whatever, I don't know. Like I said before, everyone would be like, oh, you have to watch Full Metal Alchemist. It's the best ever. It's like, no, I don't want the best. I don't want the worst.
We're going to go middle of the road.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I know there's anime of every possible story type and... genre and everything like that, so I don't know where we want to go.
Maybe we should go something more convoluted and confusing.
I mean, I was a little confused with Goemon in that one, but...
Yeah. But the whole storyline made sense.
Oh, yeah. The end goal was like, yes, he wants to rescue Clarice, and he's already had the history with the castle where he got caught before and almost died, and, all that stuff, so...
Yeah.
It wasn't too crazy. It was easy to follow, except the Goemon.
Yeah. I mean, we could watch Akira.
Oh, God. I know
people think that that's super high bar, but I think it's pretty middle of the road.
I know that Akira is... What is it? They could only animate the first 2 and last 2 of the...
No, the first book and the last book.
Okay.
And that's what you get.
Manga?
Of the manga.
So they're just missing the whole middle part?
They're missing the whole middle part where everything makes sense.
I wish I could think of an anime that I know of that I was kind of like, that could be interesting, but I think anyone I heard of, I was just like, well, whatever, I don't care, I'm not going to watch it, so I don't need to remember this. There's lots of anime I've heard of in the past that people spoke highly of, like Ghost in the Shell. I do remember actually the one we were talking about that we need to find somewhere is Golgo 13. But
Golgo 13, yeah.
That
was on YouTube.
Yes. So we'll have to look into this.
Crunchyroll?
Bad gateway. Something's going on, my dude. Oh well. But it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
I can't complain too much about it. I wasn't watching it and just being like, oh god, when will this end? thankfully. So that would have been bad for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. There aren't many slow parts. It's pretty go.
Yep, that's true for
the
sure.
entire time. And it is definitely a product of its age.
Yeah, as soon as it started, I was like, well, I didn't know like how old it was, but I was like, man, this has got to be from the very early 80s or late 70s.
Oh, yeah.
And, the soundtrack was pretty good.
Oh, the soundtrack is absolute fire.
The soundtrack was good. I was like...
Just spy tunes all over the place.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
70s funk.
I know. I was like, damn, this sounds pretty good. So that was probably the high point for me for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It was good.
Good.
Let me see. What kind of rating system do we want to do for this?
I don't know.
How many weebs out of 10 or something like that?
5 weebs out of 10?
Oh, no. Higher than that.
6 weebs?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have much to compare it to.
No.
As a regular movie, yeah, sure. 6 weebs out of 10. If you're a fan of the genre, maybe check it out.
Sounds good.
I wouldn't probably recommend it to someone that doesn't watch anime. Because they'd just be like, an hour and a half long cartoon?
Well, that's the thing, is that anime is becoming way mainstream culture now.
I mean, it even was back, even when I was with school still.
Yeah.
I remember people watching, like, Dragon Ball and stuff like that. Well, and other stuff from Japan, like, Power Rangers, obviously.
Oh, Power Rangers.
Yeah. I didn't watch it, but I knew people were talking about it.
Anime.
Yeah, anime talk. Yeah, so we'll have to figure out what the next one is ASAP so I can start watching it for the next show next week.
Yeah, keep your eyes on Twitter. Maybe
Yes.
we'll put a poll up with a bunch of stuff in there and see.